and you've got Ronald McDonald, and you've got the Hamburglar, and you've got the Happy Meals, and you've got the dollar menu, and you've got the milkshakes, and you've got Donald Trump serving fries at the drive-thru. How many fast food restaurants have Donald Trump serving fries at the drive-thru? It's only McDonald's. That's the only one, because McDonald's is the only one that built the temple that has enough integrity for that to happen. The thing with money is that, like, it's a taboo. Okay, so it's so bizarre. You got this thing that's made up. Okay, it's this imaginary concept. It's like it's just made up. There's no like money. Like yeah, you can have like cash, you can have paper money, but that's not money. Like the money that I get online is not paper money. The money that I got online comes in the form of PayPal notifications. It comes in the form of emails. That's not money. Like that's not cash. That's just the same as any other notification. Those are just pixels on the screen. It's like, what has to happen in order to get those notifications to pop up? It's a whole sequence of events. It's not about the notification. Who cares? So even if you have the notification happening, that doesn't mean that you're getting money, because there's like stuff that has to happen before the notification, stuff that has to happen after the notification. So the thing is, you don't understand that, because you're just like, well, money, it's money. Like, I only make $7 an hour. How can I pay any money? How can I pay you any money? I don't know. What do you want me to say about that? You only make $7 an hour. See, $7 an hour, you only make $7. You know how many hours there are in a day? There are 24 hours in the day. Are you making whatever? What's 7 times 24? I don't know. But whatever that number is that how many dollars you get every single day? No. If when you say you make $7 an hour, you're talking about your job at Starbucks or whatever. Starbucks must pay more than $7 an hour. But whatever. When you say you make $7 an hour, you're putting this in a little box. And you're saying this is the job that I have. So like, I got money today. Why did I get money today? Because somebody made an offering to the temple. Okay? That gives me money. What is that? Is that a job? A temple offering? That's made up. Okay? It's made up. There's no such thing as the temple. I hate to break it to you. If you think that this temple is a temple, like what? You guys, all temples are made up. This is something I just invented. I don't want to ruin the magic for all you kids, but the temple was invented for a reason. It was invented for a reason. It was invented because myth has power. Because money is a myth. And when I say myth, do I mean, well, Michael, you just admitted this is deception. This is falsehood. It's all lies. It's a myth. I'm not talking about that kind of myth. You know what a myth is? Right? You know the myth. Like the grand myth. Like Greek myth. Or the myths from the Bible. Like it's not about like whether it's true or false. These are stories that were written and are told for a purpose. They're told because they have power, because they move people on a deeper level than the day-to-day mundane nonsense that we think is real, which is also another myth. That we're just like asleep, we're just like sleepwalking through that myth. So the temple is a myth that has a purpose. It's a myth that's conscious. It's a myth where you're awake. And you say, okay, we're going to use the power of myth to get what we want. Myth myth is what gives us meaning. See, you think that you're a person. You're not a person. Like, do you think that like the cats and dogs and the monkeys and the squirrels, do they have myths? No, they don't have myths. Do they have a concept of like, this is me? No, they don't even have that. I don't think they do. It's like human beings have that concept. So we can make up these stories and we can say things like, oh, I'm going to pay for the temple. I'm going to pay for a temple offering. Or we can say things like, well, I make $7 an hour. This is all made up. So I don't care about anything. This making money online is why the temple exists. It's why every temple exists, is to make money. Okay, it's why McDonald's exists. It's why CVS exists. It's why Dunkin' Donuts exists. Now, Dunkin' Donuts is an example of a company that seems to have lost its sense of myth because they've changed the name to Dunkin'. What is that? What's Dunkin'? What happened to the myth? Dunkin' Donuts. It would be like if Jesus changed his name to Joe. It's like, that's not the same guy. Do you realize that Jesus has power? Jesus has been Jesus for 2,000 years. You can't just be Joe. That makes no sense. That ruins the myth. Okay? Now maybe they have their reasons. I don't know. I'd be very curious to know what goes on in those boardrooms. But Dunkin' Donuts, the one that I grew up with, that's a temple. They've got the donuts behind the counter, like behind the cashier. They've got the coffee. There used to be a commercial on TV where there was the guy that woke up early in the morning and he said, time to make the donuts. And he made the donuts really early. That's the ritual of Dunkin' Donuts. And what the whole purpose of that is what? Is to get money. Money is a myth. It's another ritual. Because it's a ritual when you've got customers that come into Dunkin' Donuts and they give their money and they get the donut and they get the coffee. That's a ritual. It's a dance that the customer and the cashier both perform in. The devoted and the priest. They enact this ritual. For what purpose? Why? Why don't you just walk in and they just give you the donut? What do you have to do the money for? I wish I could turn off the chat. I can't. This is too distracting for me. Like, I can't read this while I'm talking. I don't want to read while I'm talking. This is impossible for me. This is what it is to be a priest. If you want the money, you have to show up and you have to open the doors so that the customers can come in. And that's why you have a temple. Because if you just show up on the street corner as yourself, then what? You just open yourself up to the public. Then what happens? But with a temple, then you can say, no, this is how the ritual is done. We do it this way. And if you're not going to do it this way, if you're not going to participate, if you're not going to kneel when you have to kneel, if you're not going to open your mouth when you're supposed to open your mouth, if you're not going to take out your wallet when you're supposed to take out your wallet, then you can't be part of the ritual and you're not going to get saved and you're not going to heaven. Sorry, tough luck. You didn't follow the rules. You didn't do the dance. The ritual goes a certain way. You have to turn to the left. You have to turn to the right. You have to chant these words. Stand up, sit down. That's the ritual. And it's all for a purpose, every little detail. Because without the details, then what do you have? You have nothing. It's just a free-for-all. But the ritual is made for a purpose. Look at what happens in the Marine Corps. I've never been in the Marine Corps, but I've seen all their videos on YouTube. They understand what ritual is about. The whole thing is ritualized. From the moment you get on the bus to go to boot camp to the moment you get off, everything is planned out. And it's the same experience for everybody who goes through the program. It's like Harvard University. Another place I've never been to. But that's how it works there. I know it's how it works there. That's how you get to that level. That's how you get that kind of reputation. Because it's about having standards and having the boundaries necessary to actually get those standards met. It's one thing to, if you're just going to sit there and have high standards, but not have the boundaries, then what are you? You're just a whiner. You're just a complainer. But if you have the high standards and the boundaries, then you are elite. Then you're actually effective. Then you're making things happen. And that's what Dunkin' Donuts used to do. So if you want to make money, which is all I care about, I don't care about anything else. Now, I know all of you on the internet wasting your time right now, okay? None of you are trying to do anything of interest. You're just here to just waste time, literally. I know all of you say, what? Money? What? You want my money? This is a scam. I knew it. Only scammers ask for money. Really? What's going on? What's going on here? What is happening in the chat? I can't stand this. I can't stand these goddamn chats. Like, what is this? What? Do you have a question, like a real question? Ask a real question. Otherwise, it's just a distraction. Why am I so stressed? This is not a real question. Goodbye. This is nice. Okay, so I've disabled the chat. There's no chatting now. I don't have to see any of that. Okay? Now I'm in my comfort zone. No chat. Chat. Just me. And just you. Without any talking. Just me talking. It's just a monologue now. Making money on social media. That's the purpose of a temple. Okay? A temple is there to make money. A temple is there to make things happen. A temple is there to set boundaries. Boundaries. I disabled the chat. Why did I disable the chat? Because I can't deal with that. Like, I'm performing right now. I'm on stage doing a solo act. I can't be having this back and forth. I need to be able to focus on what I'm doing. I don't want engagement with the audience. The engagement happens on a more intimate level. If you want engagement with me, then you can approach through the channels that I have set up. You can go to the website and you can knock on the gate of intent. That is a channel that I have set up for engagement. If you want to engage with me on a one-to-one basis, if you want to get closer, if you want to actually be part of this, that's what you do. We're not going to do it in the chat. We're not going to do it in the comments. Okay? I'm not having this one-on-one engagement. I'm not Ben Shapiro. I'm not going to do that. I'm not Jesus. I'm not here to have any kind of engagement in public with the crowd. That's not it. I'm here by myself, sitting in my car, talking to my phone. That's how I'm doing it. I'm leaning into my strengths right now. And I've set it up that way. And YouTube gives me the ability to set it up that way because there's a little checkbox and I can turn the thing off. I can turn off the chat. I can turn off comments on the whole channel. I can delete comments. I can mute people. Anything I want. I can get rid of any of the noise that I don't want. Okay, those are the controls that YouTube gives me. Because YouTube is a medium, is a platform that lets you build a temple. There are people who want to say, Michael, this is YouTube. Michael, you're a guest here. This is our turf. We, the commenters of YouTube, the chatters of YouTube. You're a guest in our house. No, I don't play that game. You're a guest here. I'm the priest of the temple. You are my guest. And you play by my rules. And you can't talk back because I turned off the chat. So if you don't like what I'm saying, if there's anything about it that bothers you, if you want to say, you want to tell me, you want to say, why are you so stressed out? If you want to say, are you okay? If you want to say, bro, just get some help. Whatever you want to say, you can't say it. Or at least, I'm not going to hear it if you say it. You can say it. You can talk to your phone right now, and you can scream it as loud as you want. It's going to fall on deaf ears. That's the way I like it. Because now I can perform uninterrupted. Now I can have some kind of focus, and I can do this show that I set out to do. I can build the thing that I'm trying to build. I can make it the way I want it, and I can get into some kind of flow, and I can just keep going. That's how it is. And this is how I get the money. Because once I get the flow going, then I turn it into the money. Once the flow is there, then I can start building gates. Then I can start building pathways. Then I can make a funnel. Then I can make web pages. Then I can use ChatGPT to write web pages for me. And then I can have it write code for me. And then I can have it make it look exactly the way I want it to look. And I can have the colors I want and the fonts I want. And then I can just have all the buttons in the right places. And everything can be set up the way I want. And I can make a Python script that will make a certificate for people who want to be part of this, who want to be part of the temple that I am building. And I can have it look exactly the way I want it with the exact fonts that I want. And I can make a web page that has a form in it that I can fill out and type all that stuff. I can't do this when I'm talking to people, when I'm getting this nonsense coming back to me. Can't do it. But when all of that noise is turned off and I'm there by myself, and it's just me and the computer, then I can do this. I can build these crazy worlds that actually have real integrity to them, and that have complexity and depth and richness to them, and that have moving parts, and that you can explore. I can build that stuff. I can't do that when there's all these performers in the comment section that are trying to get my attention because they're here to get my attention. They're here because they want attention. They're not here because they want to explore the world. They just want attention. If they don't get it from me, they'll just go get it from someone else. Good. Go get it from someone else. There's going to be more space for the people who want to explore the world when you're gone. Excellent. That's the way it should be. This is a video game. This is a very complex, rich video game. And once it can stand on its own, who knows what's going to happen? And that's where the money comes from. That's how you build Dunkin' Donuts. That's how you build McDonald's. And you've got Ronald McDonald, and you've got the Hamburglar, and you've got the Happy Meals, and you've got the dollar menu, and you've got the milkshakes, and you've got Donald Trump serving fries at the drive-thru. How many fast food restaurants have Donald Trump serving fries at the drive-thru? It's only McDonald's. That's the only one, because McDonald's is the only one that built the temple that has enough integrity for that to happen. You can't just make your own restaurant and just say, let's call up the White House and let's get a photo op down here. It's not going to happen because you're not McDonald's. And how did that happen? It took like 50 years. When did McDonald's start? It was a long time ago. This takes focus. This takes continuity. You can't just say, oh, I'm just going to just use my dashing good looks to get on camera, and then suddenly everything's going to be great. Like, you have to build something. And you know how many spreadsheets I have? Do you know how many Python scripts I have? Do you know how many, like, I don't have the Instagram accounts anymore. I don't have the Facebook accounts anymore. Those are gone. They were taken. Disabled. I had scripts that were written to work specifically with Instagram. That's a whole part of the temple that is no longer operational. We can pray that it will return someday. But even if it doesn't, there's more to the temple than that. Because there are other channels of communication. There's other ways onto the spreadsheet. There's other ways into the funnel. Because that's what a business is at the end of the day, is a funnel. It's where you've got people at the top of the funnel, and they funnel down into the bottom. And at the bottom is where they pay the money. So right now, you're somewhere in the middle of the funnel. This is probably not the first time you've ever seen me. Maybe it is. I don't know. I'm not going to know because I turned off the chat. Good. I don't want to know. I don't want to hear it. I don't care. I'm too busy building the game. I'm too busy designing the levels. I don't need to know where you came from. I'm focused on the level that I'm working on right now. That's all I care about. I want to make it have as much integrity as possible, to be as beautiful as possible, to be as aesthetic as possible. I don't care where people are coming from. I don't care where they're going right now. I just want this level right here to have the integrity that it needs to have. And you just do this step by step. This is not a level right here that you have to pay money to pass through a gate. There are levels, there are gates that require you to pay money. Like you walk into Dunkin' Donuts, and if you want to get a cup of coffee, you can look at the menu. You can look at the other people who have the coffee. You can walk into the restaurant. You don't have to pay any money for any of that. But when you get to the point where you want to go up to the cashier and get the coffee, then in order to participate in that ritual, you have to pay the money. This is very straightforward. It doesn't seem straightforward because I'm talking about it in a strange way. I'm talking about rituals and temples, and I'm talking about gates. What is all that? Because this is a myth. I'm making it very explicit that this is a myth. You don't think about it that way. To you, this is just real. This is life. I walk into Dunkin' Donuts. Of course, you have to pay money to get the coffee. It does cost them money to give me the coffee, doesn't it? I don't know what it costs them. Who cares? They're not charging you money because it costs them money to brew the coffee. They're charging you money because that's the ritual. That's the business model. They're not charging you for the coffee. They're charging you for the whole thing, the whole temple. They're charging you for the sign, for the lights, for the ads, for the electricity. They're charging you for the heat. They're charging you for the vacations. They're charging you for the daycare for their kids. They're charging you for the whole thing, the whole entire thing. That's why you pay $3, $4 for the cup of coffee. It doesn't cost that much money to brew a cup of coffee. You're paying to be part of that whole thing. You're paying to be part of that myth. But we just gloss over it and you say, well, of course, you're paying for a cup of coffee, of course. It's not of course. This is all made up. That's a business model. That's how they pay their bills. That's how they justify everything they're doing. Like that's just how they make it work. They say, okay, this is how much money we want. This is how many people are going to be buying coffee. You just do the math. You just take the number here and you divide it by this other number. And that's how much that's the price they put on the menu. It's made up number. It has nothing to do with the coffee. Who cares? You say, well, I could just make coffee at home for 25 cents. I can make coffee for 10 cents. Okay, so make coffee at home. You're not, who cares? That's not, it's like what you go through the drive-through. Like, that's what you're doing there. That's why you go to Dunkin' Donuts. Because you could just drive through with your car and you just drink the coffee. Can you do that for 10 cents? Can you just drive your car down the street and roll down the window and then you just like reach out and pull a cup of coffee out of the air? No, you have to go to Dunkin' Donuts to do that. You have to make an offering to the gods of Dunkin' Donuts. According to the myth, I don't know. That's the myth. And you've decided that you're going to be part of it. You've bought into this. That's where the money comes from. I would ask if there are any questions, but you have no way of giving me a question. This is blessed silence. I make all these viral piano videos, and what comes back? People who don't actually want to do anything. Was that a mistake for me to do that? I don't know. I don't think it was a mistake because it's teaching me something. It's teaching me that this is why I have to make a temple. You know what the temple is? This is the kind of thing I should put behind a paywall. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell it to you right now. The temple is a trick. The temple is a device. The temple is a test. The temple pulls right out of the fabric of reality. It pulls out all of the nonsense. It makes it very clear what you are here for. As soon as I mention the temple, see, when I was talking about piano, when I was talking about meditation, you could hide. You could hide in the shadows. And I would be none the wiser. But as soon as I say temple, as soon as I say priest, as soon as I say ritual, you are forced to drop the act immediately. It becomes immediately obvious why you're here. You immediately separate yourselves into little groups, and I can see them clearly, plain as day. And that's why I have the temple. The temple is a way of protecting me. The temple is a flashlight that I can shine on the crowd. And I know immediately who I've got to keep my eye on. I know immediately who I have to bring a little bit closer. I know immediately who I have to shut the gate on. It doesn't make it easier to do those things, but it makes it clear. It makes it obvious what the truth is. The temple is a device for truth. And that's what Dunkin' Donuts has. When they have, it's because you could just make coffee. You could just be somebody who likes to make coffee and donuts. And maybe you'd get people coming over and hanging around you. Dunkin' Donuts, though, doesn't have to worry about that. They don't have to worry about, because they have a restaurant. They have a store. And they can say, no loitering. And that makes sense somehow. They can say, and it's just obvious, like, you're not going to go there and hang out there all day and not buy anything. That's kind of weird. But Dunkin' Donuts can do that. Starbucks can do that. McDonald's can do that. They have this authority. Why is there authority? They're just making coffee. Do you have authority when you make coffee? Suddenly, it's like people aren't going to get near you because they're afraid? You're going to call the police because they're just hanging around in the room that you're in? No, because you're not Starbucks. You're just someone on the internet.